So many people who are feeling stuck in their life are completely overlooking this. And if you don't do this, you're never going to create lasting change. And you're going to be met with so much resistance that any manifestation that you want to make is going to feel so much harder. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what the missing link in transformation is and what ties it all together, helping you feel better when you want to create change in life. Hi, I'm Lucy, a mindset and transformational coach, and if you're new here, I help people to create clarity and uncover what's keeping them stuck so they can build confidence to step forward into change with clarity, calm, and consistency. So if you want to take the time to make sustainable changes in your life that actually stick, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Often, so many people think that if I just write affirmation boards or vision boards or goals, like my manifestation is just going to appear. And that is just not how the mind and the body work together. And a lot of us are looking through this personal development lens through such a single focus. And if you want to create real change, not just from how it looks on the outside, but both how you feel about it and how you think about it and how you just overall approach it, you need to be looking at it through the mind and the body lens. And if you don't, it means that when you're on this change journey, if you're met with a difficult situation, that's just going to pull you straight back into being in old habits because your body is going to feel dysregulated. You're not going to be telling your body what you're telling your mind, and that is where the resistance is going to form. So today I'm going to be talking you through what you need to do in order to hold steady when you're manifesting your goals. Because even if you're consciously trying, subconsciously, you might be getting held back. So the three things we're going to talk about today in this video are, we're going to talk about how to actually regulate your body when you're manifesting. We're going to talk about how to align your nervous system with your vision. And thirdly, we're going to be talking about how to increase your chance of manifestation happening. Since I've been doing this work, I've been noticing bigger results. I've been closing bigger deals. I've been doing things more consistently. And I've just been feeling so much better within myself. Because it's all about how you understand your own nervous system, and it's honestly changed everything. So the nervous system is like a hidden conductor between how we think, feel, and act. And research has actually shown that it influences about 80 to 90% of our physical and emotional responses. So that is literally infiltrating every single thing we do in our life, and yet so many people aren't understanding how that plays a part in manifestation. And before I became a coach, I went through a really bad bout of mental health, which I'm very open and talk about a lot. I tried everything. I tried therapy, new routines, new habits, and eventually I got to the point where from the outside looking in, everything looked good. But deep down, I still fell flat. And so when I worked with a coach to help me reconnect with who I really was, help me understand my authentic voice, it eventually inspired me to become a coach as well and help other people. But even then, something was off, something was missing. And it wasn't until I understood that my mind knew who I was now. It knew the limiting beliefs. It knew what I needed to do to change, but my body just wasn't catching up. And so I was meeting myself with resistance that was still doubting myself. It was still the fear of getting it wrong, because my mind and body weren't aligned. And the subconscious was sending messages to my nervous system and telling me that I wasn't safe. And so everything changed again when I learned the mind and body-based practices together. I realized that I used to hold my breath constantly, especially when I was writing emails. I just used to be like, and that actually would dysregulate my nervous system. And so that would send off a cascade of things throughout my day, which would then eventually cause me to feel really stressed. Another thing that I didn't do was I didn't slow down. I just thought that pushing through or going to a really hard yoga class was slowing down, when really it was about learning to pause, even for just a moment, to breathe and to listen to my intuition and to feel. And that honestly changed everything. And it taught me that we've got to be curious. Like, we've got to start listening to them cues and that avoidance and them decisions, because if you don't get curious, then basically that means that there's parts of yourself that you're afraid to look at because you're refusing to explore them. So let's get into the three things that you need to do if you actually want to make the manifestation work. So number one, you need to slow down. I've just mentioned this, but in order to manifest effectively, you need to slow down and to take the moments of pause within the day. This is to check in on what you're doing, but also to check in on yourself. So 90% of everything that we do is controlled by the subconscious. This is everything from knowing how to walk, to knowing how to go to the toilet, to knowing how to tie our shoelaces. And these programs have been formed a long time ago, many of them, and they may no longer serve us. But if we're trying to rewire them, we have this awareness within our mind. If you're then going to go and rush through your life and rush through everything you're going to do, it's going to be much harder for you to notice these patterns that maybe you haven't brought to your conscious awareness yet. And so if you don't slow down, your nervous system is going to stay dysregulated. You might stay in a survival fight or flight state, and that dysregulation is going to affect the energy in your body. And so if you want to have this mind and body alignment and you want to manifest, you need to be checking in with yourself and taking the little moments of pause. And so this isn't about visioning more or planning more. It's about aligning your body to your vision. That means taking small pauses throughout the day. This doesn't mean taking 20-minute meditation breaks. It's literally could just be a few deep breaths or taking a time to feel your feet on the ground, to take a breath. You can also do this thing where you just really notice your finger and your thumb running along each other, and that can just calm your nervous system. Because we don't just have one intelligence center, we have three. And we're so often just so in our heads, thinking, strategizing, worrying. But actually, when we can connect to our heart, which is our emotional center, and our gut, which is our intuition, which we're so tuned out from, and understand and listen to where we might be feeling resistance, we can also then start to build our creativity, and creativity can build action. And that's why so many people have their best ideas in the shower. Like, that isn't something that's just been made up. It's because when you're in the shower, you are having a moment where you're not on your phone. Well, I hope you're not on your phone. And you're feeling the water on your body. And all of a sudden, when the mind starts to relax, creativity and that clarity starts to rise because you're no longer in this survival state. And so the second thing is visualizing from alignment. So let's say you've slowed down now. You've taken the time to check in with yourself throughout the day. The next step is to visualize what you truly desire. But here's the thing, if you're manifesting from a place of ego, from a place of shoulds or have tos, or if you feel like having something like a fancy car or a nice handbag is going to somehow make you better, you're operating from a place of lack and low self-worth. And that in itself is always going to build resistance. But let's say your goal is coming from alignment, and it's something that you really understand is like a gut felt yes. It feels out of distance. And if you want to manifest this, if you want to bring it forward, you need to start teaching your body that it's safe to move forward in that direction. Otherwise, if you're just strictly in your head, your head is always going to notice the distance that it has to cover. Whereas if you can align your body will then start to say, actually, no, we can do this. And the fear responses like perfectionism or procrastination or avoidance will slowly start to dissolve and fall away. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something real and vividly imagined experiences. So when you visualize, that is basically sending signals to your brain saying, this is safe, this is familiar, this is who I'm becoming, and therefore we can take the steps forward to actually do it. And this is why elite athletes use it. And in one study, they got a group of people to lift weights, one with actual weights and one with just visualizing lifting the weights, and they increased their strength by about 13%. So that just shows the power of mental rehearsal, because when the mind and body are aligned, your nervous system starts supporting your goals and not resisting it. And number 3 is you need to increase your real world outputs. I'm not joking, like so many people I know avoid this. If you want to manifest and you actually want it to work, you need to increase the amount of things that you're doing in the real world. So many people say, I'm manifesting, and yet their actual world and their actual things that they do stay exactly the same. And now that's okay if you're having new experiences, you're meeting new people, you're having new conversations. But for the people that are just staying inside, doing the vision board, but just watching TV every night, if you're expecting massive transformation in your life, you have actually got to start taking aligned action. Because if you've slowed down, if you've visualized, and if you've explored the step to change, but then you're not actually looking at the variables and looking at the things and the data that you might get from the outside world, you're never going to learn, and you're never going to put yourself into that environment that's going to show you that you can. And I'm not saying the feedback is going to be good, it might be bad. And that might bring up negative emotions, but that is not failure, it's data. And it's what is telling you that what is working, what's not working, and how you can start to recalibrate to make the things that you want actually work for you. And you might be doing the things that feel comfortable, but comfort is not growth. And what I say is, a lot of people think the opposite of pleasure is pain, but actually the opposite of pleasure is comfort, because pleasure comes from doing something, from having this aliveness, from this feeling of that you're alivening your senses. Whereas comfort can be a bit of an escape in the world. It can be leaning into maybe habits that aren't very healthy for you. And so when I say you need to increase your outputs, you need to be gaining pleasure from new experiences. You need to be doing things aligning with your values so you can start to create this momentum for manifestation. And so many people suffer with this thing called FOMO. So forget fear of missing out. This is fear of a better option. And this is what social media does so badly. It's that people won't take the action because they're waiting for a better time, or they're waiting for a better option, and they get into this perfectionist curse that stops them from progressing. And so the clarity that you're craving that is going to help you manifest doesn't come from overthinking it. It comes from doing more of it. And so manifestation isn't just the mindset, it's the movement, it's the willingness to put yourself forward and take steps so you can receive the data back from your mind and body. So what I'm hoping that you've learned today is that manifestation is so much more than just writing down goals or doing a vision board. It's about creating change from the inside out. So the question that I have for you is this: what part of you is ready for change, and what is still holding you back to what feels safe? Because that is where the work begins, and that is where we need to be radically honest in order for you to break through to the other side and give your body what it needs so it can align with the thoughts. So as a final roundup, if you really want to make manifestation work for you, remember 1, slow down so you can respond instead of react. 2, visualize what alignment actually means to you and what that means in the body. And 3, increase your real world outputs so you can have the experiences to call the new manifestation in. You'll learn far more from doing rather than waiting for the perfect time. And if you want to dive deeper into my embodied change method, you can watch the video here, or you can download my free workbook below. I hope to see you in the next video and see you very soon.